Hello, I am Dorota Judinska-Solish, your host and the founder of I Am Serenity Healing Center, dedicated space for holistic well-being. After nearly 3 decades in manufacturing, I followed my calling to support others on their personal journey. My motto and mission, be the change, create the world you want to live in, guides everything I do. I am committed to creating a safe and nurturing space where individuals can reconnect with themselves and find support through gentle holistic practices. Authenticity and heartfelt connections are at the core of my work, and I strive to inspire others with wisdom and compassion. I also co host the Cosmic Unity Temple podcast with Sabina Mishka, sharing conversations that nurture the mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to my next episode, A Journey of Transformation with Ania Markiewicz. Today, I invite you to insightful conversation with Ania Markiewicz, an intuitive with over 13 years of experience in supporting personal transformation. Her journey began in her youth, influenced by her parents, who introduced her to natural remedies and energy work. This early exposure ignited her passion for holistic wellness, leading her to explore various modalities that nurture mind, body, and spirit. Through her practice, Anna empowers clients to overcome limiting beliefs, release stored negative emotions, and embrace their innate capacity for growth. Her approach combines techniques such as Psyche and emotional code to facilitate profound personal shift. Join us as we uncover Anya's wisdom on holistic well-being and the power of subconscious mind. We look forward to sharing this meaningful exchange with you. Hello and welcome in our podcast episode, A Journey of Transformation. I'm Dorota, I'm your host, and we are meeting today with Ania Markiewicz, the intuitive. Our friendship story is over 10 years long. We have known each other for over 10 years, and we've met through essential oils and holistic healing place in Chicago. Anya, we can say maybe she was born with this. Maybe it's Maybelline.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, yeah. Because you were raised by two amazing people who were actually already in the realm of spirituality and expanding their horizon. So, why don't you tell us what was that like to growing up in a family like that, and how that impacted your choices in this healing realms?
So, yes, and obviously that was my reality, so I didn't know any different, right? That's just what it was for me. And then when I grew up and I learned that not everyone had, loving and supportive parents and that were around energies and things like this, that was an awakening for me that, that was different. Um, but my parents went through their own struggles as kids and then just as parents. And so when I kind of came around, they wanted to take a different route. They didn't want to go to the doctors and, kind of the healthcare system failed them back in Poland. And so they turned to healers and energy workers and more natural ways of doing things. And it really resonated with all of us. And so that's kind of how I got started. And, I was always surrounded by people who, like I said, did any kind of energies or, worked with herbs, worked with crystals and anything like that. Um, so that was just my reality. And like I said, ever since then, I just wanted to know more and go deeper and see the endless possibilities of our um our body and, our spirit and mind and everything.
I remember your story. You were telling me about skipping school just to be in that environment.
Yes, which, I mean, we can jump into it, right? The mind is a powerful thing, and I did not like school at all. So I remember I would sit in my room and tell myself, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be sick. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be sick. And I would wake up and I was sick and I had fever and all the other, symptoms. And my parents would take me to healers, which was just a lovely place where I felt, amazing, and it resonated with me a lot.
That's home.
Yeah. Until the healer figured out that I was doing this purposely. And he told me, he's like, next time you get sick, he's like, you're not going to come here anymore. He's like, because I can't help you anymore. He's like, you're going to go to the doctors and they're going to have to do tests and you're going to be in a hospital. I was like, okay, well, I'm done. I'm no longer going to be sick because that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to escape school to come see him. So that is the power of our mind, whether we realize it or not, but that's just what happens, right?
Absolutely. So, one of the modalities is integrative manual therapy. Can you explain what it is and how it helps your clients?
So IMT for short, is pretty much communicating with the body. That was one of the first modalities that I've learned after being massage therapist. Because, like I said, my journey's just been kind of exploring and learning more and what we're capable of. So IMT is all about listening and learning the language of the body, and within, throughout a session, we look at whether like your lymphatic system's flowing, if your gut's flowing, are there any, bacteria or viruses that are kind of disrupting your homeostasis. And then you kind of go in and figure out what else is prohibiting you from being balanced, right? So a lot of it's like physical therapy and energy work kind of combined. But like I said, the basis of it is communicating with the body. So some through muscle testing and other modalities to just listen to the body, right? Because just because, like we were talking about earlier, just because your kidneys hurt, that doesn't mean your kidneys are necessarily the main thing, right? It could be an emotional thing, but it could be, like the kidneys are connected with the bladder, which the bladder is connected with the small intestine. So we kind of have to look at the bigger picture, kind of step back and like, okay, what is the story? What is the body telling me? Instead of just treating the symptom, you're looking at the whole picture.
And you do it through some sort of physical testing, like blood test and anything, or just touching the body?
Just
Just
touching the
touching the
body.
body. That's one of the languages. Touch the body because our bodies like to be touched. Then they communicate, right?
Yes,
Um,
for sure.
so we touched a little bit about limiting beliefs and programming. How do they impact overall health, our physical health, mental health? If you can bring up any examples, we just started on kidneys, so we can continue
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, even talking just my example, right? Like the mental aspect. I told myself I was going to be sick and I was sick. And, realizing that it works the opposite way as well. That if you tell yourself that you're healthy, that, you're successful, it will work too. The problem with that is a lot of times when we do just affirmations, we have collected years of limiting beliefs and programming that stop us, right? So you may tell yourself that you're super successful or that you're really healthy, but there's a programming in the back of your head that tells you that maybe you're not worthy of these things or you don't deserve this, or maybe it's not safe for you to have a lot of money or be healthy because there's something else deeper going on. So clearing these things will help you feel better, just clear your mind. It helps you just relax even more. And like I said, all the emotions and thoughts have a huge impact on our bodies, right? I mean, there's so many studies done, what stress does to our body. When you have these limiting beliefs, that's stress added to our body, whether you realize it or not. So we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. We don't even realize most of them are there because they're just kind of in the back of our head. And most of them repeat every day. So if you have a limiting belief or a thought that into your, reality as that.
I have found this very revealing. Going back, even with some of the ladies here today on a call, we joined a program where it was for the weight loss. But weight loss, it's not just losing weight. To me, it became healing the weight off of your body because there is so much that creates, I would say, fear within us. And when we move through challenges, we kind of cover ourselves in those blankets, the layers of protection that very often becomes like food, junk food treats, and addictive behaviors. Eating food becomes addicting. Not eating food becomes addicting. In my case, I was afraid to eat because every time I ate something, I felt bad. So the food was, in a way, hurting me. So when I got to eat, what's gonna hurt me? So clearing all that mental disagreement with the body, the mental chaos was for me a lot. And even I would say mental and emotional, when we start shedding the layers of our body, and that stuff comes out. If you don't have a support system, if you don't have people who can actually translate that for you, it's challenging to not to jump back on a wagon and keep eating and keep trying to go the old ways because that's all you know.
Yes, for sure. And so there's a quote that I really like that hit home for me is you have the body you need, not the body you want. And it's like we want to be, whether it's you want to gain weight or lose weight or you want, and it's like, well, no, but why is your body a certain way? What is it telling you, right? Like, so my whole thing is with whatever therapy, and like I said, I have so many modalities that I know, it's about teaching people to listen to themselves, right? Because communicating what even realizing the thoughts that you have is huge, right? Realizing like what is my body telling me? Even with your not feeling well eating, there was a message behind that, right? Your body's trying to tell you something. And like you're saying, support is huge because a lot of times when we heal, unfortunately, we have to see the things that we are healing in order to let go, right? It's like cleaning out the closet. You have to go through each thing, realize like, do I need to keep it or do I need to discard it, right? You
Absolutely.
can't just dump everything out because
Mhm.
you might need some things. And it's the same thing with our healing journey. It's, you know, what do I need to hold on? There are some things that our, parents and society have put in our heads that might be good, most of them might not be. We just need to discard them. But there are some things that could be useful.
We have generations, and every generation has its own rules and own way of proceeding life. So definitely reviewing the old books, it's worth it. There's a lot of wisdom in it. As we go back to the ancestors, we can also go back to our parents and see what's useful, what's not for us. Now, the short session that I had with you, Psych, can you talk a little bit about that and why is it, how did you get into this modality?
So Psyche was just kind of brought to me by actually one of my clients because again, my whole life's been a journey, right? Started a massage therapist, then I went to IMT working with the body. Then I worked with kind of the spiritual realm and cleaning out your auras and chakras. Then I got into inner child traumas and working with inner child traumas. I was like, there's something missing. Like I could help people, but not to the level that I wanted to. And I'm kind of an impatient person. And so somebody guided me towards Psyche, which was kind of magical because within, like you saw within one session, you can get so many things unblocked and changed so many things. One of my clients told me that it's like 3 years of therapy in one session, you know, and it's kind of true because you get really deep down into certain things and, releasing things. So how Psyche works, it's about balancing your right and left hemisphere. So a lot of times when we get stressed out, your brain gets off balance, right? Your right and left hemisphere don't talk. You're most of the time you're very emotional. You can't think logically and it's done. Like, that's just how we're going to go. So it's going back and rewiring those pathways, right? So that your brain can think about either a traumatic event or about a limiting belief or anything in a more balanced way. It also works with balancing the subconscious and conscious brain. So I laugh because I say that the subconscious brain is very easily changed once you have the tools for do it. And it's kind of like 5G internet, right? It's very fast, it gets it. While our conscious brain is like the speed dial-up, that it's like takes forever, and sometimes somebody calls and disconnects you. It's just
Waiting. Please keep
yeah,
waiting.
exactly, right? So, and we think the opposite, right? We think our conscious brain and just positive thinking is going to do it. It might, but it's just going to take you a very long time. And like I said, I am a very impatient person, so I need things right now. Like I don't have 2 hours to meditate and try and change my paths in my brain to change. Yeah, the last thing that I kind of learned, because like I said, I'm always trying to learn new things, is clearing emotions. So with Psyche, you go in and you just rewire the subconscious brain to get new beliefs in, right? So you're just kind of putting in new programming. With this new therapy, which doesn't even have a name really. You go in and you see what affirmations or beliefs you have. We're clearing those out and then we're installing. And I feel like with my clients, I see that it works even faster because I'm all about, fast, efficient, like let's let's get things going.
No
I
time to
don't have
clean up.
all life to do this.
It's springtime and we need to do the cleaning, right? And our bodies and are asking for it. So to me, it looks like going into computer room, removing that data from the computer that is old and replacing it with the new one and rewire the whole body. And that's, I experienced that when we had that session, that short mini session. And I gotta say, it's really, well, it feels good. That much I can tell you.
And
It's
a
like
lot
a
of
clean
people
house.
don't know how to explain what they feel like after. But I said it's almost like just a sense of peace, right? Because you're getting rid of all this old programming that you no longer have to hold on to this burden of, holding on to that you don't deserve things, right? Or you're not good enough, or that you're not safe. And it's just such a heavy thing to be carrying around with us. And you just finally let that go. And it's just this sense of peace on all levels.
Exactly. And it's the best thing, not feeling overwhelmed. And the anxiety comes from that extreme chaos in our heads, the overwhelm with things that we
That froze
are
for
not
me.
able to process.
Different. So sometimes we do have to again see things, but yes, a lot of times it can be very gentle, right? So we're again, it's all about talking to the body, right? There's times where we talk, there's affirmations and the body doesn't allow us to do this affirmation to change it. So we kind of have to baby like backtrack and like, okay, what is the body, okay with changing, right? So like maybe you know, for you, it's like, I want to, I am super healthy. Maybe your body doesn't want to be healthy or there's something that's stopping it. So it's like, okay, what's stopping you? Let's backtrack. Like, well, maybe, it's safe for me to be healthy, right? Maybe it was a whole thing of depending on others, right? That when you're
Mhm.
sick, others take care of you. So maybe there's that, need that piece. So it's like I said, this it can be very gentle with the new uh, piece that I've learned, it is kind of like a slap in the face sometimes.
Wake up.
Yes, I've done sessions on myself, and I'm like, okay, well, I just feel like I'm getting called out by the universe right now. All right, well, I guess this is what's happening right now. So again, it can be gentle, but it sometimes can be like, okay, you're not listening. Like we got to get you in line.
How many times, right? And we do have that. How many times will you feel like you released something? Okay, I'm done with this project on myself. Now I can move to the next one. And as we were working together about, I do believe it was about money and worth for me. And my body just would not agree, would not agree. And Olga's probably gonna laugh because we talked with Olga about that too. So there's a lot, there's a layers in us, and some of them are rooted through generations, and those things are challenging to work with. So going back again to the right support, finding the right support, right people, connecting with people. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I feel like this is the time when we need to cleanse, clear, and let go, and just be a new generation of human race that has a lot less burden from the past, that the junk that it's useless to us, doesn't build and destroys our lives. So how about social conditioning? What is that?
How much time do you guys have, right?
Well, we have
Um,
at least an hour.
I mean, we're all conditioned, right? It's not only by your parents in school, it's the things that you watch, the things that you hear all the time. Um, that's why it's so important to filter these things out, right? Like I don't watch the news. I don't read newspapers. It's not that I don't want to know what's happening in the world, but majority of the time it's skewed negative news. Like give me facts. Don't try and hijack my system and just put me in a fear state, right? Um, the more you listen to these things, again, it goes into your subconscious and it just changes your wiring, whether you're aware of it or not. It just happens, right? So again, being conscious of the things that you surround yourself with and you listen to, and even the music, again, all these things that just kind of sneak up on us. Being
If we
aware.
Yes, if we think about our body is around 75% of water. It's so easy to program water into energy that we want. It just goes in it, and water holds the memory. So when we release and we cry, that's, I say, the ugly, dirty water is leaving your body. You don't have to cry, but that's how I see when I cry, because I had painful experience and I want to let it go. That's what it is for me. So it's so easy to be programmed into um, something that it's not part of your journey. So we need to, and again, using right tools, finding right people to support our journey. So
And I think, sorry, like, to interrupt you, but like I think too, the biggest thing is finding. There's so many. Like, yes, you're saying, like crying is a great way of releasing. There's like the tray, which is like the shaking of the body, going for a walk, meditating, breathing. There's so many tools that we can use to kind of get our body in balance. And again, it goes back to listening to what your body needs. Everyone has different needs. You may need one thing today. In a couple hours, something else might happen, and you may need something else. Listening to this, just being in the moment instead of always out and about and doing stuff. And I'm guilty of it too, because life gets busy. But that's when the body sometimes just causes illnesses, because it makes you, hey, you need to stop. You need to look at what I'm trying to tell you, because you're not listening.
there's a lot of ways that our body is going to force us to step back when we need to, when it's too much, when it's overwhelming. Now, what if you don't know how to communicate with your body? What if you are just at the beginning of this journey of healing? What advice would you give to those people?
I think the best thing is to start to be aware,
Mm-hmm.
right? because we can all learn how to communicate. But yeah, it takes time, it takes practice. So breathing, right? Just sitting down and paying attention to your body. What does it feel like? What, is there aches? Is there pains? Is there, a sensation in your body that you've, never felt before? So many people are not aware of their posture, of their body. Part of like IMT, sometimes I have people stand and just kind of look at their posture. Uh, and it's like they're not aware that, maybe they're a little shifted or tilted. It's like paying attention and just, like I said, being conscious of your breath, of what your body feels like, of your thoughts, right? What is it, just a mindless, again, 60,000 thoughts that, they're just kind of playing? Or can you kind of stop it and be like, okay, why am I having these thoughts? Why am I thinking negative about myself? Or, going to the worst case scenario, because that's usually what happens, right?
Mhm. So Agnes had a question. What if the body doesn't listen after years of being ignored? How do we reconnect, reestablish a relationship?
Again, it takes time, but daily, even start with hugging yourself every morning, right? And just feeling the hug, feeling your hands on your body and just giving it love, looking in the mirror and actually being present with yourself, looking, in your own eyes in the mirror. Just simple little things like this. I do a lot of stuff with inner child as well with clients. So having that little girl or, little boy and picturing it next to you and talking to them, treating that little child like you would your own child, right? And getting that connection. So you can do the same thing with your own body. Pay attention to it. If your body and soul were two different things, right? They were separate, how would the soul pay attention to the body? What,
Ask
what
questions, right? I ask questions. What do we want to wear today? Or what do we want to eat today? Is where did this come from? Like, if I feel something, what is this? What are you trying to tell me? The questions are gonna come with just what was happening in my head was not allowing me to step back and relax. So quiet down. And if you do meditation, it helps. If you just do the breathing, and I have that space where I feel like I can breathe and understand myself. A lot of times the chaos comes from the outside and it's not even our chaos. We absorb influences that will mess up our mind and create issues within the physical body with time if we allow it.
But
Maybe
let me just say one more thing. We're talking about, again, it takes time, right? It's like learning a language. You're not gonna just go to, a class of another language and you're like, oh, cool, now I know Spanish or French, right? Like you need to keep going. You need to practice every day. And it's the same thing with learning the language of your body. Every
exactly.
day practicing, like you said, what do I need today to feel happy? What do I need today to feel good? you know, yes, my body's craving this cupcake, but is it actually craving it? Well, is it, maybe I'm missing some love and sugar from my life? Or is it just the parasites that are craving that cupcake? Or, like I'm not, if you truly feel happy because, you want to eat that cupcake, then do it. But just kind of think back, like what actually in me is craving that cupcake, right? Might not be the best choice, but if in the moment is you just need a little bit more sweetness, allow yourself to do that, right? But then kind of stepping back and like, what do I really need to feel good and to nourish my body, right?
Yes. Or who am I feeding actually? Who am
Yep.
I feeding? Yeah. So reflecting on your personal and professional journey, what has been the most transformative experience for you and how it shaped your approach to healing?
Honestly, I don't think there's one. I mean, I've been doing this for 16 years now, so I've gone through my fair share of ups and downs, and you've been through some of it. I struggled with depression really bad for about a year and a half, and I had my highs and had my lows. And I'm glad now that I went through everything that I went through in my life, because even when challenges come now, I have a different perspective of it and a more pretty much an appreciation for even the tough times, because they teach me something. And I know sometimes that when we're in it, it doesn't, you don't want to be grateful for being depressed or having anxiety or having a panic attack. I get it. Like I said, I've seen some of my darkest moments in my life, but having support was a big one for me, and just kind of taking it day by day, right? And again, giving yourself grace and allowing yourself that, you know what, today is a bad day and I'm just gonna take it easy and gonna give myself what my body and what I need, right? So like I said, there's not one thing that kind of brought me to where I am, because sometimes it's a daily struggle, right? Of
Precious
things.
moments.
Yes. But in general, just learning from anything that the life throws at you.
Right. So we've met through essential oils. Are you still working with essential oils?
Yeah, not as much probably as I was before. But I still diffuse them. I use them quite a bit, on myself. Um, Especially the ones that are, the blends for kind of the higher purpose, and, like the inner child, or, valor, I love, peace and calming, just to kind of help you, you
Mm-hmm.
know, relax, because again, we can't really do much when we're stressed out, right? When you're freaking out, someone can't tell you like, well, just sit down and breathe. Well, no, that
Really?
I
Thanks.
can, I can show you the finger, like telling someone to calm down has never really worked.
No.
Uh, so realizing what works for you, right? And for me, essential oils have been a big part of that. So yeah, I definitely utilize them, my clientele has changed a lot. And obviously I've grown, and like I said, now I'm kind of in this uh subconscious, and trauma, and like working with inner child stage of my life. And that's kind of the clientele that I'm getting. And I get so excited because, just seeing it's like I don't have kids, but it's seeing like your baby walk for the first time. That's kind of how I how I see it with my clients, it's seeing that shift, and seeing them, being more calm, but being more empowered and confident, and things like that.
So
It's
you found
very
your
rewarding.
home, basically. You found your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I mean, there's always it's always a work in progress, right?
Yes.
Because I'm
Yes. No,
always wanting to learn more. Um, but it's definitely come a full circle. And like I said, I'm finally at this point where, yes, I see that body, mind, and spirit, they're all connected. You cannot address one without addressing all the other ones, right? Like you can eat healthy, but if you're poisoning your mind with crap, you're not going to be the best version of yourself, right? And the opposite is true. You can meditate all day, but if you're eating,
yeah.
crap,
Yeah. Yes,
you're
absolutely.
poisoning yourself. So it's all about balance.
Exactly. So how can we find you? How can clients find you? What's the contact?
Uh, so I have a website, which we can probably post, right?
Yes.
Intuitive Ania Markiewicz. I have a Instagram, and I also have a Facebook that people can follow, and I try and post videos and just kind of inspirational stuff that comes to my head. And just even reaching out on my website, you can find my email and my phone number, and just even if
And
you want to just
you,
chat and see.
Anya is in the Chicagoland area and suburbs. So for one-on-one in-person sessions, you can also connect with her through the website, through Facebook. Are you still present on Facebook, Instagram?
Yep.
And we're gonna post all the links for those who are interested in connecting with Anya and having support on their journey.
Yeah. And I also do Zoom Zoom calls for, the people that aren't local. Obviously, some like the IMT is more like it's an in-person type of modality. But I can still tap into someone's energy and kind of see what's happening and clear some stuff away. I do work with, kind of people everywhere. So
Absolutely.
it's not limited. I mean, energy is infinite and we're all connected. So
Yeah, and we work distance energy healings on each other too at times, so it's definitely doable. We're gonna move now to the Q&A portion, and that's gonna be very personal for all those who are joining on a call. So thank you so much for those who are watching on the replay.